to my channel Side Hustle Seattle. So today I actually just wanted to give a quick update on the new process for getting RON certified in the state of Washington. So if you're like me, you didn't even know there was a new process, but I actually got emailed from Notary saying that Washington changed their process for getting RON certified and that you now have to have the RON certification on your physical commission and that you had to make the change by August 31st or Notary would deactivate my account. And so, I went to the Washington State website and sure enough, the process had changed. I didn't receive an email. And so just in case you're like me and you also didn't receive an email, I want to make sure that you had this information. So we'll go into what the new process looks like, what the old process used to look like, all very straightforward and simple. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So if you remember back to when I first got my RON endorsement in the state of Washington, this was like back in January, the process used to be you had to have an active notary commission in Washington state. You had to have your electronic endorsement, which just means that you have permission to do e-notary work. And you do pay an extra $15 to get your electronic endorsement, just be aware of that. And then once you have both of those, you have to email the Department of Licensing with your commission information, as well as which RON platforms you're looking to use. And they had to approve those. And then once they did, and it typically took like 2 or 3 weeks, and once they did approve those, they would send you an email with this little PDF that says you are temporarily allowed to do remote online notary work up until this date. And there used to be a certain date there. The only reason they did that was at that time, RON wasn't implemented as law in the state of Washington. The bill had already been approved and all that, it just hadn't been implemented yet. So any RON endorsement that you had was temporary. What's changing now is the law's in place, so it's no longer temporary, which means now you have to permanently get that RON endorsement put onto your commission. And so the process has changed a little bit. It's honestly not that difficult, but they do say on the website that as of August 31st, so in a handful of days, if you have not got that actually put on your commission, then technically you're not allowed to do RON until you do so. So you just want to make sure that if you're like me and you had a temporary RON endorsement, you get that handled by August 31st, so that way there's no delay between when that ends and when you can continue doing RON. But again, it's actually very quick. The process now is just a little bit different. So you still need your Notary Public Commission, of course. You still need your electronic endorsement. But now, in order to actually get your RON endorsement, you no longer have to email anybody, which is nice because you actually don't have to wait for the permission. It's pretty much like instantaneous. What you do is you go into your secure access site, which is the same exact site you use when you're applying to be a notary public. You'll click into your professional licenses. You'll be able to see your notary public information there. Once you click into it, it's just going to give you access to manage your endorsements, and it's going to allow you to actually add on your remote online notary endorsement. And so from there, it's going to tell you to add on any platform that you're currently using. So there'll be a drop-down list of platforms. Now, if yours isn't there, that's okay. Just click other and then leave a note in the box. That's what I did. So really none of mine were in there. Well, maybe one of mine was actually in the drop-down list. The rest of mine, like Notarize, Live Notary, OneNotary.us, weren't in there. So I just clicked other, left a note about what the platform was, and then added it on. Once you do all that, you just submit it, and pretty much instantaneously, you're approved to do RON. It's really as simple as that, as long as you've already had your electronic endorsement. And then you can actually re-download your notary commission certificate. And now what it'll say, of course, your basic information. It'll say that you have your electronic endorsement, and it will say that you have your RON endorsement. And so that way, when you're actually uploading it to platforms, whether it be like Notarize, OneNotary, Live Notary, whatever platform you decide to use for RON, it is now officially on that. So they no longer have to actually reach out to the state of Washington to make sure that you are RON approved, because that used to have to be the process, right? Like you would go to apply for a new RON site, they'd be like, okay, great, well, we need to check in with the state just to make sure you're good to go. So now you can skip all of that and it's on your commission. So I just want to make sure you had that update just in case the state of Washington also didn't email you, so that way you knew the process and there was no lag for you. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll actually just link to the site. It's pretty straightforward. Like I said, as long as you have the basics, you should be able to go in and make those changes. But anyways, thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video.
Yeah.